Hi, I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. Well, yesterday afternoon I came out and I cut a bunch of these pallet boards up. They're to fit the narrow shelves on the back wall behind the radial arm saw. But I had to go in and take care of business, make supper, and do all those other things. Didn't get a chance to come back out. I thought it was going to rain last night, so I made sure and put all the equipment away. Fortunately, it didn't because I had left all the wood out. In any case, the wood has been outside most of the time anyways. So now I'm going to take these boards and stick them in these milk crates that I picked up out of a dumpster. I wonder why people throw away milk crates. Hard to understand sometimes. There was a deal going around where everything was don't keep anything, don't store anything, everything costs money to have on hand. So I was working for a company called Douglas Auto Tech down in Bronson. And they were a company that was actually owned by a guy named Douglas. And he was an old school salesman. He had business with the Army starting about World War II. He was making tank treads for tanks. And he made lots of them. Then he got into making electrical connectors for the vehicles. A lot of the current vehicle connectors are probably matching to the ones that Douglas made. I think one of the smart things that the United States did is decided that we're going to make, we'll say tanks. And we're going to make all our tanks have the same size wheels. Oh, got a nail in that one, don't want to put that in there. We're going to make all our tanks have the same size wheels for the treads. We're going to run the same size tracks as much as possible. I mean, you got a light scout tank, you don't put the same tread on that you put on a heavy tank. But you know, they tried to standardize. So Douglas Auto Tech, at the time it was just Douglas Manufacturing, was making tank treads and making electrical equipment. When they made the Jeep, the Willys, and they're still being made, Douglas made the steering column for it. I worked on the, well, I didn't. I had my guys work on the machine that rolled the bearing race in the Jeep steering column. Had two bearing races, upper and lower. Interesting thing. It had just a steel tube, and we had a machine that rolled a groove in the steel tube that the bearings would ride in to hold the steering column shaft centered. Now you'd think that a bearing running in a mild steel tube had to be mild steel in order for it to be rolled. You'd think that steering column wouldn't last very long. They did. Like I said, they still make them. Steering column in my Ford 8N has a similar upper bearing. No seal on it. If you leave it Ford 8N out in the rain, water gets right into the steering column. Matter of fact, I got to get mine into the shop and get the steering column out and grease it. There's a story that I was told, since I never met Mr. Douglas. They said whenever business got slow, he'd go out and get in his Cadillac with a couple of cases of whiskey in the trunk. Well, I don't know if it was all whiskey. Probably carried a variety of stuff depending on who he was going to see. Everybody's got preferences, you know. But anyways, he would get in his Cadillac and drive off and come back, sometimes a week, sometimes 2 weeks later, with a bunch of orders. And they'd be back in business making parts. What he'd do is he'd walk in and sit down at the general's desk, and they'd have a few and talk over what was needed and what he could provide. And sometimes a whole new project, sometimes it was just more of the same. So, if you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. Thanks for watching.
This video is not to be viewed by anyone under the age of 13 in the U.S. or 16 in the European Union without the express written permission of the parents or the legal guardians of the underage person. Such written permission must be on file at the local government entity in charge of enforcing the rules and regulations established by the FTC. Anyone violating these terms is admitting by default that they hold harmless the owners and operators of this channel. Any and all questions should be addressed to your local branch of the FTC.